This video is called Insider Secrets of the Legal System, and we're talking about why lawsuits really exist, how the wealthy avoid them, and what you can do to protect yourself. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you something most people never realize until it's too late. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If lawsuits didn't pay out money, there would be far fewer lawsuits. In just a moment, I'm going to explain why the legal system needs your money to survive, and why the smartest people quietly structure their lives so they're no longer worth suing. But first, let's talk about the problem you're probably feeling right now. If you're a business owner, a real estate investor, or someone who's built 7 figures or more through hard work, you already know this fear. Not fear of failure, not fear of competition, fear of one lawsuit, one angry customer, one employee issue, one car accident, one business dispute. You did everything right, and then suddenly someone is reaching for what you've built. Now here's the part nobody tells you. The legal system isn't designed to find truth. It's designed to move money. And if you don't understand that, you're the fuel. Now here's the promise. By the end of this video, you'll understand why lawsuits exist in the first place, why justice is often secondary to money changing hands, why insurance and LLCs fail when it matters most, and how high net worth individuals legally step outside the system without breaking the law. And most importantly, you'll learn how to make yourself financially unattractive to sue, which is the only real form of lawsuit protection. And in about 60 seconds, I'll show you the one question every plaintiff's attorney asks before filing a case. A question that determines whether you become a target or get ignored. So here's how we're going to do this. First, I'll explain how the legal system actually works, not the version taught in school. Then I'll show you why money is the fuel oil that keeps it running. And next, we'll walk through what wealthy families do differently. And finally, I'll explain how we structure real asset protection that works before and during lawsuits. Now stay with me, because the most important part comes later when I explain why winning a lawsuit against you must feel financially pointless to the other side. Okay, chapter 1, the legal system runs on money. Let's strip down to the basics. The legal system is not powered by fairness. It's powered by financial incentive. Judges get paid when courts operate. Lawyers get paid when cases move forward. Experts, clerks, mediators, consultants all get paid. Now here's the key insight most people miss. If people get sued and consistently get nothing, lawsuits would collapse. There would be far fewer cases, fewer billable hours, less political pressure to expand courts. Money changing hands is what greases the skids. And when somebody sues you and wins money, even once, it reinforces the system. Do that thousands of times across the country, and the machine stays well fed. This isn't evil, it's structural. And in a moment, I'll explain why this matters more than morality or justice ever will. Cliffhanger number 1. In a minute, I'll explain why the question, did you do something wrong, is often irrelevant, and why the only question that matters is whether you're collectible. Chapter 2, the only question that matters. So here's the question every plaintiff's attorney asks before filing. Where is the money? Not who is right, who is wrong, who's moral, who deserves justice. Those questions come later, if at all, because lawsuits are businesses, and businesses don't operate without profit potential. If your assets are exposed, visible, and reachable, you're worth suing. If they're legally insulated, you're not. That's it. That's the secret. All right, chapter 3, why insurance and LLCs fail. Most people think they're protected because they have insurance, LLCs, corporations. But here's the hard truth after 35 years in asset protection. Those tools were never designed to stop lawsuits. They were designed to process them. Insurance invites claims. LLCs stop small problems, not catastrophic ones. Corporations protect operations, not accumulated wealth. When the numbers get big enough, those walls disappear. And I'll explain exactly how plaintiffs punch through them in just a moment. Okay, cliffhanger number 2. In just a moment, I'll explain why judges don't hate asset protection, but also won't save you if you wait too long. Chapter 4, timing is everything. Now, judges don't punish asset protection. They punish late asset protection. There's a huge difference. When you move assets after a lawsuit or threat appears, courts call it fraudulent transfer. When you structure assets before problems arise, it's called planning. The wealthy don't scramble when trouble hits. They build the structure while the waters are calm. And this is where real asset protection begins. Chapter 5, how the wealthy step outside the system. So here's what wealthy families understand. You don't fight the legal system. You step outside of its reach. Not illegally, not secretly, not by hiding assets, but by placing them in jurisdictions and structures that don't reward plaintiffs. So this is where offshore asset protection comes in. And no, that doesn't mean tax evasion or secrecy. It means jurisdictional reality. Okay, here's cliffhanger number 3 for you in a moment. I'll explain why Cook Islands trusts work. We also set them up in Nevis, Nevis, in the Caribbean, and in Belize in Central America, and why the Cook Islands trustees tell me that we've set more of them up than any firm in the world. Okay, Chapter 6, the Cook Islands Trust explained simply. So here's how we structure it. Cook Islands Trust sits on top here. Inside of the trust is a Cook Islands LLC. When life is calm, you're the manager of that LLC. So you control investments, you run assets. Nothing changes day to day. But when a lawsuit strikes, our licensed, bonded trustee law firm steps in, not before, only when needed. Now, when the assets are no longer under U.S. control, it's not a loophole. That's jurisdiction. And this structure works because Cook Islands courts do not enforce U.S. judgments. Chapter 7, why this changes lawsuit economics. Now, remember what we said earlier? Lawsuits need money to survive. When plaintiffs realize judgments aren't enforceable, discovery power is limited, legal costs skyrocket, timeframes stretch for years, cases quietly disappear, not because you won, but because their business model broke. Okay, cliffhanger number 4. In a moment, I'll tell you the biggest mistake high net worth individuals make when they almost protect themselves and why it still fails. Chapter number 8, the almost right mistake. Here's the mistake. People move assets, but leave control in the U.S. They put U.S. LLCs into trusts. They rely on domestic courts. They assume paperwork equals protection. It doesn't. Jurisdiction matters more than documents. And that's why we never place U.S. entities inside of offshore trusts, or very rarely. We use liens, LLC layering, and offshore control done correctly. Okay, Chapter 9, composite case study. So let me give you a composite example so this can process easier in your mind. Business owner, $6 million net worth. Real estate plus operating company. He gets sued. Insurance tenders policy limits. Plaintiff's attorney smells blood, and then they hit the wall. No reachable equity. No collectible assets. No incentive. Case settles quietly, and not because he was right, because there was nothing to gain. Now, if this was eye-opening for you and you want to understand how this works before you ever face a threat, you can learn more at assetprotectionplanners.com. No hype, just education and structure. And if you're serious, not curious, and have $500,000 or more to protect, fill out a free consultation form and talk to one of our attorneys or consultants. Okay, Chapter 10, the real insider secret. So here's the real insider secret. The legal system isn't broken. It's functioning exactly as they designed it. It rewards money movement, and the wealthiest people don't fight it. They remove the fuel. Okay, here's the final takeaway. If you want peace of mind, don't ask, how do I win a lawsuit? Ask, how do I make lawsuits economically pointless? And that's asset protection. So thanks for watching. Subscribe so we can see each other again, and we'll see you in the next one.